I know we're live. Nice to
Okay,
have
so,
you.
so my name is Alexandre F Dantas, and a big honor to be here with you today. So when I was a kid and I was growing on my neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro, Copacabana, it was very common to do a street fight. Since you are a kid, you go and then one street against other streets is very common. And back on that day, I was 12 years old and I was doing karate. So when I become 13, I remember everybody get together and said, tonight we're going to have a big Vale Tudo on television. Vale Tudo is the old MMA. So everybody get together to watch this Vale Tudo show, and it was the first UFC ever. So I saw Royce Gracie as a skinny guy beating all these huge monsters. And I told myself, man, this is the real stuff. I have to switch. No more karate for me. So next day, I went for a jiu-jitsu academy near my house, and I became a jiu-jitsu student and never stopped. I was 13 years old, and my academy, there was only adults, and the training was super tough. So every day I get my house bruised, purple eye, everything like that. So it was super tough, but I never quit. And then there I get a nickname. They call me Café con Leite, like milky coffee. So anybody that wanna come and just warm up, they come with me. Because I was easy to beat. So the time flies. And I become stronger and stronger, tougher and tougher. And then my nickname uh, uh, was a little upgrade. No more café com leite, just café, just coffee. And no sugar. Yeah,
And
that's that's
what time did you become cafe, and what happened with cafe afterwards? Where did it take you?
so it was a nice thing because back on that days there was no gray belt, gray and white, all these new belts. It was just white to yellow. So after only 3 months training, I got my yellow belt, and I went to compete on the Rio de Janeiro State Championship. I won my first fight, but I got losing on the second fight, and then I keep the yellow belt for more 3 years, and when I get 16, automatically become a blue belt. When I get the blue belt, and then things change completely. I start winning very big tournaments in Brazil. I get a second place on the Brazilian Open, what is back on the day the biggest tournament. Then I put myself to compete on the first Worlds ever. I remember that I lost on my third fight. That day I had, if I got the first, I had to do 6 fights. But I lost on my third. I get the guy on one triangle. The guy didn't tap, uh, and I lose by 1 point. But it was a big experience, and I still have back on the day. Everybody that compete got a medal. It was a plastic medal, super cool, big plastic medal. I think it was the only words that anybody that resisted get a medal, and I still have this medal with me. Now you only get a medal if you get to the podium. Huh? So it was on the blue belt that I become only coffee. I become a hard fighter. And then when I got the purple, I start finishing the black belts. And then from there was a skyrocket to the black belt. I got my black belt when I was 19 years old. Um, I won the awards as a brown belt, and I got the black belt on the podium. And then I never stopped.
That's amazing. What Yeah, there's so many layers to this because I sometimes compete as well as a hobbyist, but I see that my mindset, where I'm just trying to challenge myself and see what I can do, is just completely different from somebody who's really in there to win this. And in my opinion, it's a big part of a champion. So, what is the mindset when you step on the mat? You know, just 1 week ago, right? You won big time um, at the Orlando Open, and I mean, you're still competing now on the highest level. And how do you go on the mat? What is it that you're thinking?
Yeah, no week, not 1 week, but 2 days ago was last Friday. I did compete on three different divisions: gi super heavy, no gi super heavy, and no gi open, and I managed to win the three gold medals. So the mindset of a champion become before you step on the mat. You have to be on peace of mind with you, in knowing that you did your homework at the training, you did your homework at eating, you did your homework with your lifestyle. Because if you go for to compete, with your mind focus on something else, or no, like daily job or home problems, marriage problems, and you are not focused on the competition, you're gonna be just 50% of your capacity, and then maybe win, maybe you lose, But if you get there and your mind is focused only on what you're doing right now, and then you have much more chance to be the champion. Other thing that I see a lot, on my students or even on other competitors, when they're gonna compete with someone that has more experience or is a big name of the sport, some of them already lose on their mind. They step on the mat afraid of the person. And that was one of the stuff that I never had on my career, because as a new black belt, when I got to when I was 19 years old, of course I want to compete with another guys that were already stars, But for me, doesn't matter, and never mattered. What's important? It's you go there and you do your game. It could be, you are a guy that attack more. You are a guy that do more counter attacks. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you do your game, and put your plan to work. Because if you let the other guy take the lead, and then you have to run after it, it's going to be much difficult for you. So on the competitor mindset and a champion's mindset, is that you have to be sure on your mind that you can do it. If you know that you can do it, you go there and put your homework to play.
I think I've seen a few of the videos from 2 days ago, and it seemed like you were just so dominant. You have such an offensive jiu-jitsu. I mean, it was really beautiful for me to watch on how determined you just went there, and how relentless you were just pursuing the submission. And I've also watched some of your earlier fights, for example, the one against um, one of the ones against Marcelo Garcia, and it was a different you, right? I mean, today nowadays, in my opinion, it looks like you've just become much better with age, if I may say. And I mean, yes, you're now a fifth degree black belt, and you've learned since, yeah, multiple decades of being a black belt, and it's just beautiful to see. But also, how do you manage to keep getting better and also to make sure that your body stays intact?
Yeah, that's good to mention Marcelo Garcia. We fought 4 times already. I win 3 times, and the one that I lost, I think it was a big referee mistake, because I did a rigid suplex on him. I dominate all the fight, and even though the referee gave to him, but that's okay. Back on the day, you don't have the camera to rewatch the match and see if the referee did a mistake or not. Nowadays, it's much more fair. If the referee make a mistake, you can call the camera and see what's really going on. So my body, as a 43 years old, is not as strong as it was when I was an adult. I'm more fragile. I get hurt, take a long time to recover. Last year I had three big super fights that I could not do it because I had major injuries, you know. So I had a complete tendon tear on my left biceps. I had a very bad, shoulder problem as well, and that kept me away from some big fights. So my advice to masters competitors, is to be smart. Be smart, and if you can, stay away from white belts because always when I get hurt, it's from white belts. They don't mean to hurt you, but that they don't know, the limits, they don't know the positions, and they hurt you if you want to hurt you. But as a school owner, as a professor, I have to deal with the white belts every day. And they hurt me without knowing. So when I go on the competition, when I go hard, I don't get hurt. For sure, you're gonna be sore, your back, because I have herniated disc, you're gonna be sore, but not a big hurt, like break something. But teaching when you get hurt, crazy.
That's scary to hear because you are, as you mentioned, you're a super heavyweight, so you're not a small guy, and still people are able to hurt you. But I understand what you're saying with white belts. I'm only a blue belt myself, but I even see now at this little difference of level that there's just so many things that can go wrong if you don't know, and if the ego is also very strong, right? And people are just, yeah, for example, doing an Americana and just like pulling through, or doing an armbar and pulling through, just not aware of what damage they can do to their partners. And how do you manage that in your gym? I mean, safety, in my opinion, is a very big aspect. And as you said, you in Brazil were the only kid amongst adults. Now there's kids classes and everything, and I think the level of safety might have been a little bit different. How do you treat the safety aspect as a gym owner nowadays?
So the project that my Master Carlos Gracie Jr. brought, is Jiu-Jitsu for Everyone, for me was a revolution because Jiu-Jitsu never was for everyone. Jiu-Jitsu was only for the tough. I grew up like that. I grew up old school. It's every day after the class, we have the taparia, the no-gi slap, and kicking, was tough. Now, safety is our first priority. First, because you are a business owner and you have to keep your students. Otherwise, how are you going to get money? Second, because you want to see everybody healthy. You don't want to see your students get hurt, and complain everything. You want everybody to have a healthy lifestyle. And also myself, since I lived this transition, I know what could hurt you and what could not. My old training partners, everybody has a herniated disc. Everybody already had a knee surgery. Everybody, because the training was not correct on aspect of the physiological of the movements. We used to get each other on the double leg and keep running around the mat, like 30 times, and that's gonna hurt your lower back. So now you have a safety issue of the warm up, the positions on my gym. I have a crash mat, so if you're gonna turn train a big takedown, use the crash mat because prevent the guy to fall over the other guy on a big takedown and can break the ribs or hurt the back, hurt the shoulder, whatever. So safety today is our first priority, and we managed to have that on a very, very good manner. Also, at Gracie Barra, you have a plan that you call the ICP, is the Instructor Certification Program. So every professor, every school owner of a Gracie Barra has to do this ICP every year. And on the ICP, you have the safety measures that you have to implement on your school.
Wow, that's really cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I was training at a Gracie Barra already in Poland once, but I knew that a lot of it is standardized. I didn't hear about the safety aspect though, but that's really really great to hear. Um, How do you do your warm up? Because this has recently been one of my things, trying to think about new ways of doing warm up. I'm now, for example, doing a teacher's license for the yoga for BJJ, because I think yoga can be very beneficial for Jiu Jitsu as well. And I've been doing it for a few years. How do you warm up your students before drilling in the class?
Yeah, just talking about the yoga, I have a female student that she's a yoga professor as well. So when she came as a white belt, and I saw her flexibility, it was amazing. She could escape for a kimura, just like playing a limb arm and then pull up the arm. She was like impossible to finish. Only chokes work on her, because of the yoga. So yoga is super benefit for jiu-jitsu. It's amazing. Yeah, but so the regular warm up on daily basis is gonna be jumping jacks, squats, push ups, then the cross collar sit ups. Then you put one leg above the other and like crunch for left, crunch for right, but not crunch with the elbow, but to reach you reach your elbow. Then gonna be triangle chokes, bridge, hip scapes. After the hip scape, gonna be neck exercise. So chin to chest, chin to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Then I'm gonna have break falls, and then I'm gonna have the stretching part. Gonna be uh, reach your toes together, uh, reach one toe, reach the other toes, and then gonna be open your legs, elbows towards the mat, and then butterfly, and that's the warm up.
And that's 10, 15 minutes or
Yeah, like 7 minutes every class.
wow, okay. That's interesting. And then how does your class continue?
So if you have a different class, you have GB1, okay, for beginners, GB2 and GB3 for advanced students. So GB1, every day you have a self-defense position and two sport positions. After you do a lot of repetitions, you go for the specific training. So you want to train whatever you learn. So today was side control. So start on side control, and then you have goals for the guy on the bottom. For the guy on the defense side control, regain close guard, flip over, finish or take the back. The guy on the top, knee on belly, mountain, back or finish. Whoever get this, stay in the middle. Whoever lose, go back to the line. The guy stay in the middle, he can choose the bottom top on the next one. And you keep doing this until finish 1 hour class. And then after this, you have the cool down. Going to be more stretching to relax. And then you lay down. I ask everybody to remember what they learned on the day of the class. And then you can review whatever the guy forgot. And then you bow to Master Carlos Grace, bow to ourselves, and that's it. On the advanced, it's different. After the specific, you have live training, start stand up. Every day start stand up. So it's gonna be like a competition. I focus a lot on stand up for the advanced because jiu-jitsu starts stand up. For the beginners, I was on knee, advanced, I was stand up.
Nice. And I would as a blue belt be able to go to both, or would I have to go to advanced?
No, no, no. The beginners could be everybody. You just have to follow the beginners structure. You don't have a live training for you if you want to do live training. You have to wait for the next class, that advanced. You can do both for sure.
Okay. And how much is it different training for Gracie Barra and having your own gym to back in the days when you were training in Rio?
So the difference is the structure. Back on the day, I didn't have a curriculum, so I get every day and I teach the guys whatever I have in my mind. Now you have a curriculum, so every week you have a point of focus. So last week was side control. This week gonna be guard top. Next week guard bottom. Next week mount. Next week back. So the whole week you work on this point of focus. Gracie Barra don't say to me what I have to teach on this focus. I teach whatever I want, but I focus on this position the whole week. So every Gracie Barra around the world is following the same curriculum, but each academy has its own professor. So the professor teach whatever he wants on this situational specific.
Okay, it's a very cool concept, and I think, as you said, the structure can be incredibly important for especially also beginners to get into it. Right? I feel like I, I have the luck to be traveling a lot, and wherever I travel, I take my gi and my nogi stuff, and I see if there's any classes, so I can go to as
Cool.
many gyms as possible, and I see the differences. And yeah, I think that structure is incredibly important. For example, I've been in 10th Planet Belgrade, and they would do a whole month of arm bars, and everything is around arm bars in every position, escapes, attacks, etc. And you would really focus. And after a month, like you're done with arm bars. Or they also have like a 3 months um, 10p beginners curriculum where you drop in, and for 3 months they're going to go through all of the major positions. But I don't think that so many gyms already have this kind of structure, but it mostly, like as you said, the instructor comes in and teaches whatever is on his mind right now. And if you're a complete beginner, if it's your third class and you're doing the lahiva guard, um, maybe yeah, sometimes a little bit difficult. And I oftentimes then question and think about how I would like to do it once I'm a black belt in the future, to make sure that the broadest mass of people is actually able to do that sport. As I said, like jiu-jitsu for everyone, in my opinion, is the goal. How do you make sure that you get everybody in, no matter how long they're already on board?
So I have a focus, on which student, and for sure I'm gonna feel that the student need more attention. Some students they are hard to understand. I teach, I teach, I teach, and they keep doing wrong. So I go there, I ask them to do again, and I try to understand what kind of help he need. A special need that the guy need. And then I go there and I see the error and I fix. On Gracie Barra, you have a kind of concept. You said praise, correct, praise. Because I don't want to get there and just correct, 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 correct the guy. And the guy gonna be like, I don't belong here. I go do I go do dance. It's better for me. So I get there and say, look, your grip here is very good. You have a strong grip, but you have to fix your hook, your hip escape. Oh, you did good now. Nice. You got the job done.
But that's a very nice way to teach, and actually, especially encourage just trying, right? Because if you're living in a culture where failure is leading to, yeah, to, I don't know, insult, or to making like to shame, then yeah, people are just not gonna show up anymore. Um,
Exactly.
how is it for you? How many white belts can you maintain after the first visit? Do you have like a percentage on that?
Yeah, the maintenance of the white belt is like 60%, especially because my city here, Fort Lauderdale, is a city where many people come to work and then they change the work from another place. It's difficult to have a person that was born here and live here all his life. It's a city, of vacation. Some come here just for the summer and they train first just for the summer, then they go back for whatever they live. But in aspect of you get hurt or get dissimulate, no, you have a big percentage of people that stay here.
Okay. But it's also very interesting that you said that yeah, you then probably also only have a very small core group of students that are growing under you, right? And that you're making color belts, etc. How do you accommodate those in between, like the fluctuating crowds?
Yeah, that's true. I have a core students, like 15 or 20 that they are with me since the beginning. And then we become more than student and professor become friends. And they help here as well. They welcome the beginners. They are happy that they have new students. They become coach. I can say that they become coach. So I'm living here for 5 years right now, and on that period of time, I just promote one black belt so far. Next year, we're gonna have here in Florida what we call the Gracie Barra World Summit. It's a meeting of all the Gracie Barras can come together, to learn, to fight, to have a competition for Gracie Barra only called the Compinet. You have seminars, you have workshops for selling memberships, workshop for safety and for other stuff, the World Summit. And next year, I will receive it from Master Carlos Gracie my sixth degree on the black belt. Yeah. And on the same day, I am planning to promote four brown belts to black belts. So it's going to be a big day of celebration next year.
Wow, that sounds awesome. And
Yeah.
you're gonna have a stacked gym.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that you have a very full curriculum. You're training basically every day during the week, right? There's kids trainings, advanced trainings for beginners. But let's get back to it because this is already like your gym is at a very high level. In my opinion, it's already very mature when it comes to curriculum, to practice, to standard. But how did it start? Because I read that in 2006 you kind of stopped competing on the highest levels because you turned to finish your PhD in political science.
Exactly. So I was uh, during my career of jiu-jitsu. At the same time, I was doing my law degree on the university, and I managed to finish. I did the bar association test. I passed. I become a lawyer, and then in 2006, I had my first kid, my daughter Sophia, and then back on the day, the sponsorship for jiu-jitsu was not a huge thing. I had some sponsor, but not enough to maintain my lifestyle. So I decided to focus on my career. So I commit myself to be a lawyer. I get a job on a big law firm in Brazil. We called Telemar. It was a telephone company, the biggest one in Brazil back on that day. And I already finished my master's degree, and I doing my PhD degree, and I start teaching law on the biggest university in Brazil called the Universidade, and I teach there, and I managed to win the prize of best professor three years in a row. Yeah, I was the students like me. That was good. And then, in 2006, as you said, I fought the worlds on the medium heavy. I got to the semifinal, and the whole podium was Gracie Barra. What it was me, Braulio Estima, Rômulo Barral, and Pé de Chumbo, Delcio Helena. So Master Draculino was there, and we get everybody together and said, look, we're going to close the bracket. You guys not going to fight for real. Going to be more a presentation. So we got on an agreement where Braulio Estima get the first place, and I was getting on him on the semifinal. So we did just a presentation, and then you close the bracket, everybody from Gracie Barra. And after that, I stopped competing on the adult, and my focus was on the job, law as a lawyer and also teaching. So I did pretty well. I could be a good money, uh, but something was missing. I did love what I was doing, but I was missing jiu-jitsu. So 2000, 2013, 2014, one of my big friend, Canepa, he's a black belt as well. He called me and said, "Look, Cafe, I'm planning to open a school academy in Florida, and I want you to be my partner." I said, "Man, I'm living good here in Brazil. Why should I leave?" Said, look, let's try to get you the visa. I said, okay, if you can get me the visa, like a permanent visa, green card, then I go. Otherwise, I'm gonna be here, you know. So he called the lawyer. The lawyer called me back and said, look, Cafe, your chance to get the green card is like 99% with your curriculum. So it's up to you. I said, okay, let's apply. The biggest point for me to move here was the security because Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in general, is super dangerous. Even though I was living in a good neighborhood, always I have to walk with my open eyes, you know, on alert, you know. They try to rob my wife more than once, you know. Every day you hear some story of somebody getting robbed nearby, you know. So once my visa was approved, then I sold everything in Brazil. I did buy a house here in Florida, and then I moved with the whole family. And 2019, I had another kid, my son Capo. He's already in America, and here we are, man. Happy family here.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. So, was it difficult for your wife to come with you and you guys actually to, yeah, leave everything behind in Brazil and move to a new place?
Yeah, I think the most difficult for her was the family because she's a very family woman, you know, missing her mom and her daddy. But beside that, she's super happy as well.
That's amazing. And how have you been liking Florida so far?
Florida's amazing because the weather here is pretty much like Rio, you know, hot the whole year. The only difference here are the hurricanes. We don't have hurricanes in Brazil.
Oh yeah, we don't have hurricanes here either, and I'm happy we don't.
Yeah, be happy, man.
Um, yeah, how did it then come? Like, is this you got the visa and then you got straight into partnership with your friend to open the Gracie Barra school and it just exploded, or how was the beginning? How how do
The
you open a
beginning
school?
was slow because the thing is, even if in Brazil I was a very well known name, you know, my my I have more than 20 black belts in Brazil. Every black belt have more black belts, so I have a huge arm in Brazil. But when I get here, I said my name is Cafe. Okay, I don't know. I only know Gracie. They only know Grace, you know. So I had to make my name again here, kind of, you know. Said, man, go Google my name, please. Go Google my name, please. You know, I give my card and please Google my name. And the guy come next day. Oh, I saw who you are. I want to sign up. And that's how it was. You know,
How much did it help to do that, that you were in the that you actually fought in the UFC as well?
yeah, they love UFC here, man. They love UFC, so that helped a lot. And the UFC experience is amazing. You know, you go for the locker room. You are preparing yourself, and then somebody from the staff knock on the door, says, Alexandre Café, it's your turn. Let's go. And then you walk through uh, and get on the curtain. And then the guy open, and then come the music, you know. And then while you walk into the cage, you just switch something on your mind, you know. And then the guy lock the cage. Poof, it's a complete different world. You like, you know, just you and the guy, and everything else disappear.
And how did it even come to you actually competing in the UFC after being already so high on jiu-jitsu? When did you incorporate the stand up as well?
So as I told you, you know, since kid I was a street fighter. Not that was a good thing, but it was a must on my neighborhood. So I always like porrada. I was like fighting, and I had a lot of amateur MMA fighting before I fight UFC. So I had a good experience, but I felt that lack of experience on international get me a little hyper, you know. So I was breathing too much, you know, and I think I won the first two rounds, but when I get the third round, I was exhausted, you know. I had no stamina anymore, you know. So yeah, more experience on the international level before you reach the FC is super important because you're gonna feel the pressure, you know.
Yeah, still, I think you did and was an amazing thing that not a lot of people are able to do. So you can be very proud of yourself, and especially that for a lot of people this is the peak in their career, right? And if they miss their shot to become a big name in the UFC, it's over, and their life oftentimes doesn't turn around as well. But for you, it seems it never really stopped. You made your choices career wise, and then you made your move, and you made jiu-jitsu your life again. So was that ever kind of like, how soon did you think that you would actually want to become a coach and have your own school and teach
So
jiu-jitsu?
since the purple belt, since the early night, like January '98, I got the purple belt. I was already teaching. You know, my family they have a hotel in the mountains of Rio de Janeiro called the city of Miguel Pereira, and there my grandparents he gave me a place where I did build my own academy, Café Jiu Jitsu, on Miguel Pereira City. And since the purple belt, since '98, I was teaching. You know, and they still have the same place there. Still have a school there, Café Jiu Jitsu. Now we have a black belt of mine teaching over there, Guilherme Pedra. And still a huge army, man. They have a lot of warriors over there. And I'm just happy that I could change so many lives to Jiu Jitsu, you know, because Miguel Pereira is a small city, you know, don't have too much things to do. So drugs is always around. But once you get on jiu-jitsu, you put drugs on the side and you focus on their lifestyle. Otherwise, you cannot do jiu-jitsu. How are you gonna do jiu-jitsu stunning? You know, you're gonna get beat up every day.
Yeah, and that's also a huge aspect why I think that everybody should have at least once tried jiu-jitsu in their life, that it really gives you so many tools also outside of your mat. And that would be also one of my major questions. Which tools, if any, did jiu-jitsu give you for your life in general?
That's a great question, you know, and that's the mindset that I put on my life. The same mindset I put on jiu-jitsu or competition or whatever. No, doesn't matter how bad the situation you are. Like imagine the guy mount on you, ultra heavy guy, super big guy mount on you, smashing your face, you know, sweat on you, you cannot breathe. You have to be calm and you have to overcome this situation to see the light on the end of the tunnel. Same thing in your life. Doesn't matter how hard life hits you, you can always overcome the situation and get a new path or a clear path to be happy again. So jiu-jitsu and life, they are connected. If you are a really jiu-jitero, if you are a real jiu-jitsu fighter, you apply every concept of jiu-jitsu on your life. And then you can manage to overcome anything.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautifully said, and I think yeah, this is why jiu-jitsu has this certain kind of spirit, and it has so many interesting characters that it brings into its midst, because it's different than other martial arts, right? It's different than kickboxing, wrestling, where you always have to somewhat hurt each other to be successful in a training, right? In jiu-jitsu, you don't have to. Everything can be resolved with a tap, and it's much more respectful. And um, I think you learn the art of fighting without causing harm in a way as well.
Yes, correct. When I teach self-defense, my school has a lot of police officers, you know, a lot. So I always teach them, you're gonna control the situation to de-escalate the situation. You know, once you control, you're gonna have the verbal commands to the subject, so he has to comply with you. He gonna feel hopeless. If a Kimura lock or a calf slicer, no chokes because chokes are not allowed here anymore. But any joints, the guy feel helpless. And then with voice command, the guy can comply with you and you can handcuff him without causing him any damage. I saw some police officer come to training for me. I'm good on kickbox. I'm good on box. Okay, you're gonna punch somebody in the face on McDonald's. You're gonna lose your job, man. That's what you want. That's gonna work. Not gonna work. Go control, put him down, give him a kimura, handcuff him without causing any harm. That's gonna be the main progress on police or anybody doing self-defense. Another thing about the mindset is that we do not teach only jiu-jitsu, but we do teach self-confidence, and that's super important. I see kids coming to my class without saying any words for anybody else during the class. I go talk to the parents. Say, uh, my kid is shy. My kid is super shy. Doesn't have much friends. And after 3 months, he's like already the leader of the class. Let's see the Gracie Barra creed, and then he go on the front of the class and see the creed to everybody. Everybody repeat after him as a Gracie Barra team member. Everybody as a Gracie Barra team member. I seek to develop. I seek to develop. Strengthen the mind. Strengthen the mind. So it's super cool to see everybody getting self confidence. It's the empowerment that Jiu-Jitsu brings to everybody's life.
Absolutely beautiful words again, and I think this is what jiu-jitsu can be really about. Unfortunately, it's not like this everywhere. A lot of people just get their black belt somewhere. The credibility is not always the same, right? One of your black belts might not be the same level of a teacher as somebody from, I don't know, another place in Brazil or any other school. So there's not so much standard. So this is one thing that I really find interesting about the Gracie Barra concept, because there's a lot of standardization, right? You still have your own free spirit, but there have to be some certain ground pillars. So what do you think are, in order to have a successful gym that is able to build a good community, what are like some ground pillars that you need in order to build a good gym and therefore a community?
Yeah, that's super important. As a Gracie Barra professor, everybody has to do the police ground check. If you have any problems with the police, you cannot be a Gracie Barra professor. So trustworthy, I think is the word. You have to be trust on your community, so you can build this bond with the community around you. So a parent to go there and see their kid, get empowerment, get confident, and they're gonna talk to their friends, to the other parents on the school or whatever. So, to example, I have one mother of 2 kids of my class. They are training for me about 3 years right now, and she's part of the board of the school. So when we had a meeting by herself, I didn't ask her enough. She talked about jiu-jitsu there. She talked about Gracie Barra. And then more and more kids from the same school come to join us because she love what the kids are growing, and that's is make me know that I'm on the right path. I'm teaching the real jiu-jitsu, no bullshit, because I see a lot of bullshit around, you know, but with safety first, respect, I try to make the kids more behavior, not only jiu-jitsu, but at the house as well. I told them, look, you have to respect your parents all time, And the same thing that you respect your professor here, when you get home, you have to respect your parents. And the parents listen to this, they are happy, because I'm a helper. I'm helping them as well. They help me, I help them.
And what's the feedback from parents that you get? Because I've seen it at our gym for half a year. We've had kids, or maybe even a year, and the feedback is amazing. We have been to a tournament and we have more kids than adults competing, and everybody's super happy. So, explain to somebody who doesn't know or who hasn't seen it, how does it change a kid? How quickly and how much does jiu-jitsu change people.
So yeah, think depends kid to kid, but I would say that 3 months is the average time to see the difference on a kid, especially on the behavior. They're gonna be more communicate. They're gonna be more open to make friends. I had a teenager, that she was immature for her age. She was 14 but act like 10. You know, I was screaming, and saying no sense during the class. And after 3 months, she changed completely. Now she's an example for the beginners. I have how I make this happen. I put her on a spot that she will be an example. I call her today. We're gonna lead the warm up, and then she do everything correct without screaming, without saying no senses. And the parents seeing that say, "Wow, that's a big difference of my daughter. That's not my same kid." That I say, "Yeah, the same kid, but now empowered. Now she has the power to have the tools, to grow."
Amazing. And this is one of the most important words in jiu-jitsu. I think it's the empowerment. Um, Usually we people, or a lot of us, feel weak because they are in a job, right? And usually they're not the highest ranked, so they're always some sort, well, not really empowered, because in the end they're most likely not taking all of the decisions. And there's some different processes in life and different communities where you're maybe not the most powerful one, but in jiu-jitsu, in my opinion, you have the ability to get the empowerment for yourself, even though you're not the best guy in your gym and not winning every fight. But still, there are so many micro wins that help you, as you said, like create your self-confidence and make you a totally different person. And actually, even though you're fighting, I often experience that people who are doing that are just nicer.
Yes, I agree 100%. And I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Uh, Jiu-Jitsu become a huge part of everybody's life, and everybody brings Jiu-Jitsu to your house, even if you don't want, you have to wash your gi, and you give the gift for your wife, and then she asks how it was, and then you tell her details of the training, and the wife started, learning jiu-jitsu without want to learn, So funny story. I had a white belt for the 4 stripes, and then he told me, Professor, I want to marry in 2 months. I said, oh, that's super cool, man. Congratulations. And then, like 2 weeks before his wedding, you had the belt promotion day, and he was promoted to blue belt because he deserved, not because he was wedding. Next day, it was on the Sunday, so next day is a Monday class. He come with his fiancée to the class, and then she come and hug me. Professor, I'm so glad I'm gonna marry a blue belt, not a white belt. I said, okay. Uh, that's super funny, man. Uh,
That's an amazing story. Was it
yeah.
the fiance also a student of yours, or was she
No, she
also just
never
in the
trained. Just
hype?
I told you, she become part of jiu-jitsu life just because she's together with somebody that does jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think this is really, it's absolutely true. I also am having difficulties keeping it a part of my life, and it's difficult that once you're really into jiu-jitsu to not put it very close to the center of what you're doing. And for example, I work full time in a totally different occupation. I'm a manager, but still, jiu-jitsu is incredibly important to me. And even though I cannot go 5 times in the evening to a class because I also have a girlfriend, I have a dog, I have a life, I try to learn via instructionals, for example, and then meet with my friends. Tomorrow we're starting 6:30 a.m. classes. Um, Me as a blue belt and a purple belt friend of mine, we're going to do that, and we're working on instructionals together. We're today we're watching it, we're writing stuff down, and tomorrow we're going to train it, and we're telling other people that if they want, they can join as well. And like, even though it's not within the curriculum, there's people who just want to do it. Like some people, like they cannot get enough of it, and then you are obviously involving your family into that as well. So how has your wife been taking jiu-jitsu from you? I mean, that she must be a big supporter as well.
Yeah, she's a supporter. She did a couple of months. She got the first step on the white belt, but then she got pregnant again, and then she stopped. The thing is, she doesn't like to get hurt. She doesn't like to. She prefer go for the gym and do like a regular exercise, which I respect. I don't push anybody. But you, as myself, will become jiu-jitsu ambassadors. Wherever you go, we spread jiu-jitsu because we wanted to do good to people. As a good people, we want to do good for everybody. So I wanted to try to give you what jiu-jitsu gave to me to other people that can benefit for the same stuff. And don't matter the age, whatever, as a kid or as a elder, everybody can do with respecting the limits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I'm already becoming this kind of a ambassador, and I really don't see bad sides in jiu-jitsu. I mean, of course you will get hurt to some extent, but if you are able to also set your boundaries, for example, with your training partners, where I am a very light guy, like I weigh 135 pounds approximately. So rolling with somebody who has 200 pounds or even more um, needs to be happening in a very respectful way. And I cannot do it with somebody who is like extremely forceful. But it's also something that everybody for themselves has to learn to set their own limits and communicate their own needs within a gym, because your coach cannot always look at your sparring round, right? I mean, of course, you set the ground, you're telling everybody to keep safe, but then in the heat of the moment, things happen and people are using more force than they should. And I think it's really important to empower people also in that aspect, to say when something, yeah, when they don't want something, like when they don't want to train with somebody.
Exactly, you are correct. Especially nowadays with YouTube and Instagram, whatever. White belts, they keep watching YouTube every time during the day. So they come to the class doing heel hooks. Say, man, that's advanced. I saw the YouTube professor. Oh, that's great, but don't do this now, man. You're not prepared. You're gonna break somebody's ankle doing this, and the other guy don't know how to defend as well. So yes, I always tell the guys, please, if you see something or if you are feeling something, tell your partner, tell myself. I try to keep an eye on everybody, but sometimes I have 3, 4 rows during the specific, so I cannot watch everybody at the same time. I try to, but yeah, the guy have to communicate. That's perfect.
Yeah. And how often do you actually then people still see injured after taking all of these precautions?
Yeah, like once a month I get somebody complaining, but not major issues, but some injuries, they will help me. They will help because exactly about that. The people don't say nothing, I'm already had my knee popping out. So the guy pulled my knee and the knee hurt. Why didn't you tell him in the beginning that your knee was hurt?
Yeah. But I think you're doing a good job of communicating this, and yeah, having just some certain kind of rules in your gym. And this is, in my opinion, absolutely important to grow your community, because not at least as a businessman, but also as a gym owner, right? You do want to have the biggest and happiest community possible.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to build this bond with the community. It's going to be your biggest advertisement is your community. If you treat them well, if you make them happy, then he'll bring more leads for you.
So one last question, and then will release you into your Sunday. But it's been a very nice conversation so far, incredibly insightful. But I'm still curious that while building such a great community, how do you manage to still stay so successful in competitions?
So I have a strong team, next to me. I have my business partner, João Fonseca, his wife, that's help my wife that helps, the other coach on the academy. So if I have to travel to compete, they will cover me. If they not cannot cover, I ask another higher belt to cover me. And they are happy doing this for me. The person that teach my class, as they already told me, they feel proud. I'm teaching Professor Cafe class. I think they have a good feeling doing this, and for me, this is awesome. Because they keep the academy running, and also they let me go and compete. What I love, I love compete. I still have this fire burning my inside, and I like to go there and do my techniques. I love compete, man. And my biggest goal in competition is finish the opponent. I like to do points, but points is just a sub-product of the seeking of the finish. You go there with your goal to finish the guy, and you're doing points on the path to get to the end, and the end is the submission.
And I've seen your submission list, and I wanted to ask you, which is your proudest moment in a competition?
Uh, it's difficult to say, but 2016, the Abu Dhabi Federation, they did invite me to fight the legends. It's a competition only for big names, as they see, and they put me back that day. I was on the heavyweight division. I was a little skinny, and they put me to compete against the ultra heavy and a heavyweight UFC World Champion Rico Rodriguez. So I said yes, I want to go. So they traveled me to Japan. The competition was in Japan, and the day before you have the meeting to rules and pictures, and I got in front of Rico, and Rico was a huge guy. I was looking like this to him, and the matchmaker said, "Guys, I want to see a show, okay? Because last fight of the legends was a very stalling fight, and the Sheikh was upset, and Rico said, 'No, I will rock and roll. I will put the show.'" I said, "Wow, okay, man, let's go." So next day, I was hyper, man. I was So I took him down, took his back, and do the digital clock choke. One of my signature moves is the clock choke, but I not walk with my legs. I stay flat like a digital, without moving, and he tapped it. It was a great feeling, for me.
I can imagine. And how one last question, because that's something like, how much do you focus on your opponent? Does it matter if it's a Marcelo Garcia or somebody who is bigger than you? Like, what does your mind do between those two? Is it any different?
So before the competition, I try to look up on YouTube or floor grappling if the guy has any fight, so I can see his style. But a lot of the times I cannot find anything. So I do my stuff, because I feel that I'm a complete fighter. I can pull guard or I can take you down. Doesn't matter. And also, I have been trying the flying bar. I managed to do one last year. Super happy. Yeah. So I will surprise you. I don't want to be a predictable fighter. You're gonna fight a lot of my fights in YouTube, and you're gonna see 50% of pulling guard, 50% take you down. So what I'm gonna do, you don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing to especially be wanting to be a complete fighter, and it looks like you're getting more complete by the day. And I'm gonna be happy to see you compete in Master 10 when it's that far.
As a quarter belt.
Yeah, I'm gonna be happy to see you. Um, Thank you, Professor Cafe, for the nice conversation. Um, is there anything that you would still want to add to the end?
Yeah, I just wanna say to everybody, don't quit. Okay, don't quit. It's normal have good days and bad days. It's like life. Everybody wanna be bad days and good days jiu-jitsu. Sometimes you're gonna feel that you are on a plateau, you're not growing. There's normal as well. Switch your mindset, switch your game plan. You know, I remember once, just to finish, I did put a regular brace on my teeth. And back on that time, I was doing smash pass a lot. I was putting pressure with my head and doing smash pass. But the next day, I was trying, I was bleeding my mouth. Said, what? And then I have to change my guard pass to more a hip switch. And then I use more the hip switch to guard pass. And that's helped me a lot to grow, you know. So your limitations are opportunities to grow something else, you know. So last year when I did the surgery on my arm, I put my arm inside my belt and I trained just with one hand. I have also some videos of me doing takedowns with one hand, sweeps, finish, whatever, anything, you know. So limitations are opportunities. Don't quit. Don't quit and keep training.
Amazing. I think that's also the best advice for a fresh white belt that you can give, to just stay at it, keep grinding, and yeah, see limitations as opportunities. Thank you very much for that advice, Professor.
You are welcome. Thank you very much as well.
I'm going to be looking forward to see you bring home more and more of these gold medals. I wish you great luck and yeah, a healthy competition life and a happy Sunday with your family.
Same to you. Us.
Os.